It's New Brew Thursday! Woo! It's the Festivus episode. So this is the Festivus episode because not all of us on the show celebrate Christmas, and apparently I was pressured to do something for the holidays.
What?
I know. It's
Mr.
fun.
Festivus.
Mr. Festivus. I am a fan of Seinfeld, and I do love the Festivus episode, and I air grievances constantly, so...
Constantly.
Yeah.
It's Festivus all the time.
This is our December
In other words, I'm kind of bitchy.
Show.
So this is the show that we do a winter beer called Parrot and a Palm Tree from Karl Strauss.
Yay.
And we are... You know, we love our Karl Strauss brothers, and we've been looking forward to doing a beer of theirs. And this beer took me by surprise when I had it the first time. This was an amazing, amazing beer. And it's not that it took me by surprise because I was like, oh, it's Karl Strauss and it's a good beer. It's like, I did not expect this to taste as magical as it tastes. So I'm really, yeah, I was like, we really have to do a show with this beer.
So, yeah.
I guess this will be the only new brew for me then.
Yeah,
you
you're on your
had
own.
it.
Yeah. Right. Well, Brad is back from his cruise.
Woo!
So we hate him because he's all tan.
A Mexican cruise, I was completely cut off from internet connections, so that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
But
You need to know more of the story to realize the gravity of that statement.
Yeah. It's true.
There's a backstory there.
It's true.
But you brought me back a tasty treat.
I had no idea how many consequences would result from not being able to log on to
That's
stuff.
right. We live in the world of the internet.
Yeah,
so.
apparently. So I brought back some presents. I brought back you an awesome present that you can't get in the States. And
it's very tasty.
And I brought back you a bottle of Pacifico.
Yes, he did.
Which you can't get in the States.
Which is kind of like poo-pooed on for craft beer drinkers. But what's kind of cool about it is I went to the brewery. Pacifico in the States is only 3.5, but in Mexico it's 4.5, so that's kind of cool. And this is the Bayonon bottle, which is the biggest bottle, the biggest quantity of a bottle. They just came out with this size. Ballena.
1.2 liters.
It comes with its own recyclable brown bag.
Ballena means whale in Spanish, and Bayonon, I assume, is like
Is that why I get called that whenever I'm in Mexico?
Yeah.
For size comparison.
That might be like their version of bear.
Yeah.
Ballena.
Nice. Ballena.
So thank you for this, Brad.
Yeah, no
I probably won't open it.
He's gonna cellar it.
It's got sentimental value.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes, it's a bottle you don't open. It's a talking point. So anyway, getting back to the magicalness that is in front of us, and welcome back, Brad. We're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
So although you will see a couple of episodes in the coming weeks that don't include Brad because we did film them already. So
yeah, that's
true.
But
I did get that from the actual Pacifico brewery in Mazatlan.
It's legit.
Cue picture of me in brewery.
So this is a Baltic Porter from Karl Strauss.
Listen.
It's 8.5% alcohol, and it's aged. Yeah, it's aged in port wine barrels, more specifically San Pasqualtani port barrels, which I'm assuming is a great winery, and they have awesome barrels.
Yeah.
So
well, Karl Strauss is kind of in that whiny area.
Yeah, they're
that
in the
winery
it's
area.
whiny.
Yeah,
they're in the whiny area.
Karl Strauss is whiny.
This is if you go way back, if you set the way back machine to like a year and a month ago when we did Victory Baltic Porter.
Right.
This is what I was hoping that would taste like. And Victory does a different little kick with theirs where it's a little more smoky, and it's a fantastic beer. But this is what I expect to drink when I'm drinking a Baltic Porter.
Jubilee with.
Right, exactly. Like you get so much of the cherry off of it, and you get like nice chocolatey, smooth, very rich without being overbearing flavors. Like it's very smooth and easy to drink.
It's really sweet up front,
really good,
and then it just coats your tongue. You get a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of cherry going on. The bitterness comes through, a little bit of the heat from the alcohol. It makes it a little dry. It's really, really good. I think the most impressive thing about it is how like creamy and smooth it is.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah,
it's not scary, you know.
Well, and I think for me personally, like we live in an age of massively big beers, of the barrel aging, and here's a 18 point whatever barrel aged stout, and it's like, oh, that tastes great for like 3 sips, and then I'm just kind of over it. Right. This I can enjoy an entire bottle of and not be trashed and not whatever. It's just a nice beer to sit by a fire, which we should have done tonight, but it's too cold. I was kind of a wussy about it.
Wow. Well, since I found the beer, I think I've had three or four bottles of it. Like you can check my Untapped check-ins, and it's like one of my top 3
Speaking of which,
favorite beers.
Should we all check in Untapped right now?
Well, I don't have my phone.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm not wearing my
Untapped
shirt on.
Yeah, Fail.
All right.
So we're gonna pair this with some very strong blue cheeses. We have a what do we have, Brad?
So we have a blue Stilton and a De Basque sheep's milk blue cheese.
That looks like a very hard cheese.
It's not.
It's crystallized.
Yeah, it's a little aged.
It's harder than the Stilton. But
And then
they're
the
both pretty
chocolate,
soft.
we have a cherry.
Yeah, so these are 70% cocoa, a toffee and cherry, something
Well, you know what?
extravagant organic.
I'm sure the cheese is great, but I'm going straight for the cherry chocolate.
I definitely get the wine, like
By the way-
dry mouth feel at the end of this. Like you definitely feel the wine arrow in it.
Well, I'm gonna say cheers to Karl Strauss
Yeah.
and cheers to Brad being back.
You know what it tastes like with that cherry candy? One of those.
Heaven.
Well,
Little slice.
it tastes like, actually, I'm going to say it tastes like cherry candy, but it tastes like chocolate with like the creamy, it's like a whole cherry. And it's got the cream in it. I don't know, it's in a box of chocolate.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it tastes like.
When you get one of those pieces of little cherry in the middle
and
of
it
the
melts
soft,
in your mouth. Yeah.
That's true.
That's excellent.
I do get that.
I also want to try it with this super dark cocoa.
Yeah, the dark chocolate kind of brings up a little bit more of the bitterness. It makes it a little drier.
Yeah.
But you get it also brings out the really strong chocolate notes of obviously from the dark chocolate, but like it brings it out of the beer. But it almost makes it feel a little hoppier, even though it's not. You get just kind of a little bit of that hop bitterness on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to really get any bitterness from this. It's supposed to be pretty much all malt right up in your face.
I like the way that tastes, but I don't know if I would say that's a good pairing with this beer because it alters what it's supposed to taste like.
Honestly, for me, it's kind of a wash.
Yeah.
It kind of neutralizes everything out because that's pretty bitter chocolate.
Yeah. Now the cheese, the Stilton works phenomenally with it. I'm going to say that right now.
Before trying it.
No, I had some already.
Oh, okay.
I kind of skipped over my description of that and went straight into the chocolate because I am kind of a chocolate whore.
Steve is a whore by many names.
The cheese
That's right.
kind
Bad whore,
coats
chocolate
your,
whore, whatever.
let the cheese coat your tongue, and then you just get the sweetness of the chocolate.
That's a very mellow blue.
Yeah, it really brings out like the saltiness of that. Really kind of like forces the sweetness of the beer to really kind of take hold and fight for dominance in a good way.
You're right though. This cheese is pretty mellow. I'm gonna try some of this.
I think this cheese is way too strong for it, though. It
definitely overpowers
It really
it,
just
yeah.
kind of neutralizes all the flavors in the beer, more so than the
Yeah,
70% cocoa chocolate did.
I haven't had the toffee yet.
I agree.
I've had the toffee. Toffee works really well with it too because I
Yeah.
think the caramel really kind of just lights up the sweetness
That
of that
whole
beer.
mouthfeel, the softness and
Oh,
the creaminess,
yeah.
it just
like
totally...
buttery almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's butter in your mouth. It's chocolatey, buttery, cherry goodness.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite beers of 2010, and we're cutting it close because it's
Yeah, exactly.
December 23rd.
He's come down to the wire on that one.
So it's...
I think
I'm very
that
impressed
with
with
this
it.
beer, this reinvigorates my love of Baltic porters because I love my all-time favorite, and no offense, Karl Strauss, but my all-time favorite is Alaskan's Baltic Porter. Love that beer.
Well, I think a lot of people love that beer as a
Right,
as a
but it's
style.
so hard to get.
It's hard to get. Yeah.
And so, especially down
Take it
here.
from us.
So, Alaska, if you're watching, seriously, get me some Baltic Porter. I will hug you. But I'm so happy that Karl Strauss is making a beer that is right up there with it.
Yeah.
It's like right next to it, as far as I'm concerned, and it's so amazing. And I love this beer, and
Same
I
here.
would literally stock my refrigerator full of this and drink nothing else for a
Yeah.
while. And I really want to pair this with a cheesecake. Because if you know anything about me, you know that my absolute favorite beer pairing of all
Weakness.
times is Baltic
beer
Porter
and
and New York
cheesecake.
cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak or cheesecake?
Cheesecake.
Philadelphia cheese.
Not a beefsteak. Before we get too crazy with what we've got in front of us, we're going to go ahead and shoot off to a Master Pairings and let Dr. Bill teach you what amazing pairings can be. So go enjoy that. Go do it.
We'll be here.
Amazing.
Consider it your Festivus gift from New Brew Thursday.
You just said gifts.
Yeah, you
It's fine.
Bill.
Sending you light and love.
Light and love.
Through the
Namaste.
internet.
Hey everybody, it's me, Bill Sysak, known as Dr. Bill. Welcome to another Master Pairings. I'm here with Noel. He's part of the Crude Brew Crew.
Yep.
It's a fellow podcast that we have out here in Southern California that we're big fans of. Glad you can make it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, a lot of people, when they first hear Crude Brew Crew, they're like, are these guys just crude and rude on the thing? But actually, there's another reason why you guys call yourself Crude Brew Crew. And what is that?
Yes. Well, two of us work in a crude unit for an oil refinery. So that's our
That makes
connection.
perfect sense to me. So I like that. But that's just a little.
But we're also a little crude too. So.
Okay, fair enough. So it works all the way around. So today, I thought we'd do an IPA. And, you know, we're here in Southern California. We have all these great IPAs. I thought I'd give a little East Coast love. This is a very enjoyable IPA. It's from Flying Dog. It's called Snake Dog. It's their 7.1% IPA. And I wanted to do an IPA today because I want people to understand how versatile an IPA is for pairing. IPA the bitterness in beer is great for pairing, period, because it really matches the sweetness that comes out in a lot of foods. But it also accentuates heat. So IPAs are great for spicy restaurants, you know, kind of Thai, Indian, Chinese, you know, even sushi bars. And so I got some pretty hot salsa. Hope you can handle the heat.
Well,
and chips. And so we're actually going to try this IPA with some hot salsa and some carrot cake, which it actually goes really well.
I never would have thought carrot cake.
So
IPA.
we're going to try both of these and see how it goes. So here, let me get this open for you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for coming out to Master Pairings. Really well balanced. As most beers east of the Mississippi are that are IPAs, there are some people that do some really hop-forward, eccentric beers, but a lot of the breweries do these really nice, well-balanced IPAs, clean, crisp, great hops, but you know, they just don't jump out and punch you in the nose like some of our West Coast IPAs.
Yeah, it's definitely not in my face, but it's good.
No, it's a good beer, clean, crisp, great bitterness to it. So let's see how it holds up. I'm going to take you to the sweet side first, okay?
I'm curious about that.
Go ahead and try a little of this
I never
carrot
would
cake.
have put carrot cake and IPA together.
It's a really nice marriage with the carrots, and then the you know, they kind of do this cream cheese, classic cream cheese icing on it, and it just plays really well off of it. Are you surprised?
Well, it's the IPA. I don't know if it was the bitterness or whatever, takes away the sourness of the cream cheese.
Well, with cream cheese, what you get is you get this sourness up front, but this sweetness that hits your mid and back palate. And like I said, the IPA, the bitterness in beer, all beers, but IPA obviously more pronounced, plays really well with that sweetness. So it kind of just makes it subtle, lets the carrots itself and the cake just shine, and it becomes this nice little spicy mix. IPAs go really well with spicy food, but they also go well with spices. And a lot of the spices that are involved in certain other recipes of other countries are the big spicy, bold flavors that come out, and that's why it plays so well. So IPAs are really good with stuff like this.
That's a good surprise. I never would have put these two together, and it works. It almost brings out the carrots a little more.
Yeah, it totally does. It brings out the spices that are used in making the cake itself and the carrots, and it plays really well with it. So I'm going in. I like hot stuff, so let's see. They said this was hot. Maybe it won't be. This is a... Notice how it hits your palate. The IPA kind of just flows right over the front of your tongue, and then it hits that spice in the middle, and it keeps that spice going. The heat, the spiciness, I mean, it heat, and it just hits it. I got it going across my tongue right now. It's really saturated.
Soothes the spice a little.
It soothes it up front, soothes it up front.
And then it kicks in a little in the back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's really cool about IPA and spicy food.
Now these two I would have thought. I always think chips and salsa and IPA and, you know, that kind of food, but
well, you
really
know,
good.
People that drink macros, they don't ever think about, well, I'm going to pair this fizzy yellow beer with this course and this fizzy yellow beer with that course, because they all pretty much taste the same, and they just use it as a beverage to consume.
Right.
A lot of people do that, whether they're having... I like to pair spirits, for example, with food, but a lot of people that are just bourbon drinkers will have a bourbon with their steak just because that's what they drink. Or they'll have a red wine with their steak, but they won't necessarily think, well, I want to have a cab with this steak, and I want to have this Pinot with this salmon, and these different things. So they don't think about all those things, that they taste good because they go to a restaurant and they drink something they like.
Right.
But when you try different beers, get them to try an IPA. I think it will play really well when they come to these restaurants. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a great Asian Indian restaurant, seen beautiful bottles of red wine left half drunk on the counter because they just don't drink very well with those particular foods.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with the wine. The wine pairs great with certain dishes, but people want to see this red wine on the list and they go for it. If you brought in your own IPAs, because a lot of Indian restaurants unfortunately don't have your IPAs, but I found in California at least a lot of ethnic restaurants have a BYOB, bring your own beer, bring your own booze. So you can do that, pay a corkage, and bring it in, and you can bring it. And I tell you, you'll never go wrong having this with spicy foods. Noel, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys, for watching another Master Pairings.
Boom.
Hey,
Oh, hey.
that was Master Pairings. It was enjoyable, wasn't it? You know it was, don't lie. Anyway, so I am in love with this beer, and I think that Karl Strauss does a ton of amazing beers. And in the beginning part of 2011, you can expect to find us at the Karl Strauss Brewery. That's more of a warning to the people at Karl Strauss Brewery. We're coming for you.
Yes.
Know it, love it, live it.
We're making it
In
happen.
the best way possible.
Yes. And I want to take a moment not to like get into the whole like, oh, New Year's and whatever. But 2010 was freaking awesome.
Yep.
Like, I love what I do. I love the show. I know I speak for Brad and John when I say that it's so amazing to be here.
It is.
And the reason it is because you guys make it awesome. And we love you guys. We love the support. Please keep it coming. 2011 is going to be freaking amazing. We've already got some like really epic travel journeys planned out and in store.
Just like last year.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's going to make 2010 look boring.
Oktoberfest, Germany? What?
Well,
Economy,
unfortunately, Oktoberfest falls on the Great American Beer Festival, and I have my priorities.
We're not going Oktoberfest.
Yeah, no. But I think you might find us in New Zealand at some point.
May.
Just saying.
You may.
I think it's going to happen. Anyway,
All right,
anywho, Karl Strauss, thank you very much.
Awesome beer.
We're not
Awesome
gonna,
beer.
We're not
Awesome
gonna
beer.
wrap up with what? I just want to hear what your guys' like overall thoughts on all the pairings are.
The cheeses were a win all the way around.
Okay.
I think that this one works better than this one because this one's
I
just a
agree.
little bit
I
too
totally
much.
agree.
Yeah, it's
I
a little
totally
too salty, a little too much power behind it. The cherry, which, you know what, I didn't try the cherry, so I'm not going to...
For me, the just straight up 70% cocoa chocolate wasn't very good. Toffee,
Yeah.
amazing.
Coffee was
Coffee
good.
was the best, yeah.
It made it really creamy, and then the cherry, like I said, it's like that cherry candy and the
It already-
box
yeah.
of chocolate.
Yeah, the cherry brings out a lot of the...
Cherry's good for that.
It brings out that port barrel
yeah.
quality to it.
Yeah.
So this is a win. Definitely, if you can find a bottle of this, go get it. It's amazing.
Definitely.
When you drink it, check into Untapped. Let us know you're drinking it. If you're not following us on Untapped or we're not following you, please hook up with us.
If you follow us on Twitter, our names are basically the same on Untapped.
Yeah, pretty much.
At John Holzer.
If you stalk us, then you're set. So
And you
keep
should be stalking us.
Yeah.
I want to find you all in my bushes.
And again, thank you very much for watching New Brew Thursday.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a great year.
This is fun, but having,
It's more
all
fun
the love
because
from the
all of you,
fans
yeah.
is
Yeah.
even
The
better.
fan validation.
Right.
is awesome.
So thank you very much. And as always, stay safe and drink beer. Before we get too crazy with all this stuff, we're going to shift off to a Master Pairings with one of our good friends from the Crude Brew Crew, Noel Hawkins, who is the special guest on the Master Pairings.
Booyah.
And he will find delightfulness in his mouth. Go enjoy it. You need to leave that in.
Oh, that's funny.
That was awesome.
I think we might have had a straight face for a second before we cut. It might be workable.
Oh my god. Okay.
It might be usable.
Woo! Woo! All right, so before we get too crazy with what we've got in front of us,
Okay, go.
before we get too crazy with what we've got in front of us,
Mumbled.
3, 2,